morning, everybody. It is Monday, April 6th, the day after Easter, and I have pulled up anchor in Lake Worth and headed to Fort Pierce. So we have left our anchorage. So West Palm, Palm Beach, Riviera, whatever it happens to be. So we have left. Okay, so this is the estate of Sylvester Stallone. Okay, one with the beach, and that's a guest house. Big mansion in the middle is his place. No big old boat out there in front, but he does have a beach. He looks like he really wanted the beach. Yeah. Just a little bit out of the inlet because we have two pilot boats that just passed me, and so we've got a cargo ship coming, a container cargo ship coming in the inlet. We always come in the morning and leave in the evening or the afternoon. I knew I'd need one out here. Okay, I have just crossed over from the right side of the inlet, Lake Worth Inlet, to the north side, and I am kind of proceeding in a northeast direction. We'll be heading east into the wind so I can raise the main. Okay, everyone. Hey. I'm motor sailing, as you can hear. Sails aren't too happy because there's not enough wind and really unhappy seas. Every once in a while I get about a 4-footer. Supposed to be 3 foot 6 seconds. Not sure if we're there yet. They're coming out of the east. Wind is kind of east-southeast, probably around 4 or 5 knots. I have the mainsail up basically just to give me some balance here, okay? Kind of make the ride a little bit easier in the direction that I'm going, which is kind the north, a little northeast right now. I'm about less than 3 miles off the coast of Florida, going by Juniper Inlet. So yeah, what I do is when I go on a passage and go with my boat, I always check everything once I get going. So I'm approximately 9 nautical miles from where I left this morning. So I go and check, and I open up the companionway entrance to the engine compartment, shine a flashlight in there. I'm going like, whoa, where's that water dripping down from? So I could see it more on one side of the boat, on the starboard side, than I could see on the port side, which was near the seacock. So those are drain seacocks. If worst comes to worst, I can shut them off. So I try to move them all the time, but I think the last time I tried to move it when I was down to Key Biscayne, it did not move. So there could be some growth and stuff up in the mechanism. Oh, we got a flying fish that flew by me. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's slow the boat down, put it on autopilot. Well, it was on autopilot, but I slowed it down hoping that I could stay going forward the direction I was, but no, the boat wanted to turn around when the engine wasn't running towards the southeast. So I decided just to put the motor back on again, or in gear, and get it up so the autopilot would at least hold it the lowest speed. So I took the over the engine cabinet thing cover, and that's heavy. To do that in unsettling seas, you know, that are rocking you back and forth, could be very dangerous. That's why I wanted to slow the boat down, so I'm hoping that I could do this. So I lifted that up, put it safely so it wouldn't fall over. That's another thing. Put it somewhere where it wasn't going to fall over. Crawl down inside there with my little flashlight and try to find where that water is coming from. And when I got down in there, crawled in there, which is back here, back in this compartment, like way back there. So I got back there, and I was like, okay, what is going on here? Well, there's water. So I checked around the rudder post and the not the connector, but the stuffing box there, and checked that, and there's no water coming around that. And I'm like, okay, so, and then there's no water coming off either one of the seacocks. So it's not from the seacock. It's not, don't appear to be. I changed the hoses to the exhaust a while back, but they're new hoses and they're very thick, and they're wired reinforced. So the exhaust hose, I checked that, make sure that wasn't leaking, and there's no water around that. And so the only determination, I'm going to keep going, and the only thing I can figure out, and it does happen sometimes, the propeller forcing it with the waves, strong waves sometimes, and you've got it in gear. I have a PFS. Look at the flying fish are just going like crazy. I have the PSS coupler for my shaft, and sometimes, you know, you get enough force coming through that cutlass bearing, and it can pop out that rubber boot. And my boot is as tight as it can be. So I replaced that 2.5 years ago. The whole system, cutlass, had the shaft re-honed, machine, and all new PSS. And so I don't know why. I did call PSS once and asked them why I still get water in there, even though I've gone in and cleaned in between the discs and flushed it out, because debris can get in there and then separate the carbon disc from the stainless disc, and water can come in there. He explained to me that with the max prop that I have, that it can actually force water, especially going in reverse, which I hadn't been going in reverse here yet today, can force enough water in there to, you know, pop it out through it's got to escape somewhere if there's enough force, so it comes out the weakest spot, which is around the boot and the disc. So I don't know, I get splash up in there, you know, it's not dripless. You know, they can say it's dripless, but it's not dripless. This has been on my boat for I don't know how long. Well, the new one has only been on for 2.5 years, but somebody put one on there originally. So I know the other one was dripping. Okay, usually you have a problem if the engine is not running and you're neutral, or you're sitting there, engine not running, and it's dripping. That's the problem. But mine doesn't do that, so that's why I changed it the last time. So anyways, that's a long story. So I'm just going to keep going and make it hopefully to Fort Pierce. Just keep an eye on it. I revved it up while I had the cover up to see if there was a lot of splash, but there wasn't. So I mean, it only does it every now and then, so I don't know. I mean, the waves are starting to calm down a little bit. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. So we just monitor it. I'm glad it's not a Seacock, though I have plugs for them, and I, you know, can shut it off, that one, because it's just a drain. So yeah, so here we go. And the sails are just bouncing around because there's just not enough wind to keep them blown out there. There you go. You see how rising to the horizon, we're bouncing up and down a little. Alrighty. The flag's not going to blow now. It's just blowing. There's not much wind. It's just the waves just have not settled down from the most recent blow. And we've got another couple blows coming again. And really crazy ones coming up. They're going to be close to 40. Gale warning. So better than 40 knots. Okay, well, everything is hanging in there. We're just still motor sailing. Winds have kind of picked up to 6 knots. Still out of the east. And we're still motor sailing. But we're doing pretty good knot-wise. We're speed over ground, close to 7 knots. And I think it's lunchtime. Yeah, I do. I think I'm hungry. I was up early this morning. So hopefully we can get in before the winds pick up really crazy later on today. Not going to be as bad as what they're predicting for tomorrow evening or afternoon, late afternoon. Seas out here are going to be 11 to 16 foot. Coast Guard has already put a pom-pom out for gale warning over the VHF. So hopefully I'll be tucked away up there in Verno Beach. So Verona Beach. Verno Beach. Yeah. I'm gonna be on a mooring ball. I gotta call again at 3:30ish to 4 to see if I can get a reservation for either tonight if I decided to scoot up there tonight, or get one in the morning. We'll see. We'll see how I feel when I get in the inlet, whether I want to scoot for another 2 hours. One bridge and 2 that I don't have to worry about. They're tall enough. So one bridge you take to the north after you come in the inlet up the ICW. There's a bridge right there by Harbor Town Marina, right after there, or right before it. I think it's right before it, sorry. And that one is a bridge that has to open. So, see how it goes. Alrighty, we'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back. So the sails are down, okay, because the winds are going to start picking up before I get to the inlet, even though I'm only less than 4 miles, probably almost 3 miles now from the inlet. And so yeah, to the inlet of I'm bound to say Fort Pierce. And then I'm going to try to scoot up to Vero Beach because there's supposed to be bad storms coming in tonight. And if I leave in the morning from Fort Pierce, it's going to be raining on me. So it's a little over 2 hours to get to Vero Beach. And I gotta call them again later, like I said, later, 3:30ish to 4, see if they have a mooring for me. If not, I'll anchor outside the mooring and get it in the morning. So, yeah. So, yeah. So the sail's down. And I've been doing it without my lazy jacks, because I never got my lazy jacks redone. So the lazy jacks were an issue. They never were on the boat. I put them on when I refitted her at the beginning. And I was going to go to a 3-pair, 6-leg, whatever you want to call it, lazy jacks that are attached to the boom. Since I haven't done the lazy jacks, I prefer lifting, raising rather, and lowering, dropping the main without them. I've gotten a little bit better about dropping the sail, There's less legs to hang up. It's better, I think. Not always the best in crazy weather, but it don't make any difference. It's just me, you know. They're either the wind's gonna blow them so that they get hung up on the legs, and then I have to go deal with that. So all I gotta concentrate on when I drop the sail is just to make sure that my topping lift is up, loosen my outhaul a little bit, and that they are in the middle of the boat. The boom is centered. So, works for me for now. So, I am not sure whether the Lazy Jacks are going back. They may not. Who knows? I mean, I'll keep the new line. I've got the Lazy Jacks tied back to to each side of the rigging. They're out of the way. They're not affecting anything. So if the next person, whoever owns this boat, decides they want to do it, they're there. And the line's there. And they can do whatever they want. They can put it back to 2, they can put it back to 3. The one thing about it, the sail cover accommodates it. So whatever they end up putting in, the main sail has the openings for the Lazy Jacks. Anyways, all right, we're headed for Fort Pierce Inlet. And hopefully the current won't be crazy. I am going to be going against the current going in there. So hopefully, we won't have any issue. That's another reason I want to sail down. I've never been in this inlet. Been by it on the ICW, but I haven't been through it. And so we'll see how it goes. I know it's a busy port too. So I think there was a cargo ship that was going in. I think he'll be there long before me and in there. So yeah, alrighty, catch you later. Toodaloo. Let's hope we get through this, no problems. Okay, well, I'll explain it. I'll come in there with a little insert, but I'm not under my own power. I'm being towed. So,
just to get this overtime putting on, you go to channel 68, channel 68.
So, yeah. So I'm being towed by Towboat US. That's what happens when you... I drifted for about a mile away from the inlet because it happened within half a mile of the inlet. Then I crossed over the channel because I didn't want to be in the channel. And I thought if I got in shallow water, I would go ahead and anchor. But I didn't. I just let myself drift because I wasn't drifting towards land. So, and it's a lot easier not have to deal with pulling up an anchor while you're trying to be, get ready to be towed. So, yeah, I changed the fuel filter, did all that stuff, and it ran for a minute or two, and then it quit. Now it wouldn't start. So there's a plug fuel filter problem somewhere. So I don't know if I have to change the secondary. I changed the primary, and so may have to change the secondary. Kind of hard to do maintenance work out here when you're rocking and you're rolling out here in the seas, and the seas are starting to pick up and the wind is starting to pick up. So I'm going to be going into the inlet here at Fort Pierce, and we're going to go to Verno Beach. So they're going to put me on a mooring ball. It'll be doubled up, be buddy-buddy, but at least I'll be where it's safe, especially with the storm coming. So yeah, so there's Towboat out there. And yes, sir.
Blue Dancer, 1-8 for towboat US.
1-8. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we get up here to the inlet. It's outgoing tides. There's a pretty good little swell. I'll do the best I can not to pull on you too hard.
Okay, well, I'll just stay right behind you as best I can.
Sounds good, roger that. We'll just stay on channel 18. That way we can make comms back and forth.
That'll work for me. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. What's the height of your mast and the beam?
Beam is 10. Height of the mast is 49. I draft 5'1".
Awesome, roger that.
Okie dokie. Alright. Okay, it's going to be a little rough coming in here. Towing. We're meeting the outcoming tide and the current. So, current is quite strong. Sorry about that. Trying to stay behind him. Better once we get a little further in there, because they've got the break wall. They were trying to surf in here. I haven't got much further once we get past this. Get between the other break wall. Waves are breaking behind me here. Hopefully don't get me wet. Okay, we have made it through the Fort Pierce Inlet, and we have made a right towards the north. Yes, the towboat, Captain Jason had shortened the line between me and the towboat so that we can get under these bridges and through the narrow channel. the North Fort Pierce Bridge has opened and we are proceeding under it. You will see too that there's a new bridge that will be replacing the drawbridge. And as we continue north in the ICW. Hey everyone, I did make it to Vernal Beach, as you can hear in the noise. I did get my engine going. It took me from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, today, to figure out the problem, get it fixed. Hopefully it's fixed. It's not an engine problem, it's a fuel problem. And it's a fuel line that got plugged from the tank to the fuel lift pump. So as you can hear and see, it's doing it. So we got a little bit of air in there. Keep letting the air out. Now no fuel in the line. From the tank to the lift pump to the radiator. Even though I changed the filter out there when it happened in the water out there in the ocean before coming into Fort Pierce where it happened, and she wouldn't pick up the fuel. She wouldn't pick up the fuel because she had a plug somewhere clogged. So, and it's between the Gale Warning, the gale that we're in, and the rain, that I've been able to try to fix it. So, because my engine compartment, when you lift up the floor to the cockpit, it is open to the elements pretty much, except for the little bit of canopy from the Benedict and the Dodger. But if the wind's blowing sideways, it's gonna blow in there and get me everything all wet. So yeah, we fixed it. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. Hopefully it stays fixed. All right. Okay. Let's keep praying that it works. All right.